The other side.
Yeah.
I thought you were kidding.
No.
When?
The 27th. Of May? Yeah. Big deal.
It's huge, yeah, huge. Is the mayor pro tem ready to start?
You know,
Just handing out flyers.
For the mayor to reign.
Got to rein in the mayor pro tem.
We need to turn it off.
And remind him you were here today?
Anytime you're ready.
hey, you appointed me.
Nope. I'm sorry. They elected you. That was the line that took one step back. Yes, thank you very much. We'll call the meeting to order. For those who care to, please rise for an opening prayer and salute to our flag. If you would bow your heads with me, dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the time you have spent together. Thank you for blessing this community. Thank you for blessing our public. Thank you for allowing us to make the decisions that you want us to make. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a couple of announcements tonight. Angela Heatherly's birthday will be May 20th. She'll be on vacation, I think. And Mr. Garrett Tyson's birthday will be Friday the 13th here in May. It just said May 13th. I just threw in the Friday the 13th because I know that's the date, right? Right. Well, happy birthday, Mr. Tyson. Ahead of time, of course.
We hope it's good.
We hope that's a good one, yes.
Can go either way.
On to citizen participation. Anyone wishing to speak to anything not on the agenda, please step forward, state your name, sign in, give us your best 3 minutes. Hello, Mr. Ron Mark.
My name is Ron Mark, and I have 2 concerns I'd like to talk about.
Okay.
I'm going to use my Republic address. I actually live in the county up at Elwood, and I've been part of the community for quite a while. I was involved I don't know how many years ago with the selection of a flag. And if you remember the flag that we selected, we got a little notoriety around the whole United States. Then we changed the flag, and I understand there's some compelling reason that we're going to change the flag again. And I just wondered what the public thinks about that and why we need to change it again. That was my concern. My other concern is based on what I have read in the paper and other things that, and I know we need a new city hall, okay, because I know the space here is limited, and several years ago I worked with a group and we talked with the Cox family about opening up a industrial park out where we now have a police station. At that time, that didn't go through. But we have a police station and we own some property there, and I think personally that would be a good location for the new city hall. I don't know what decisions have finalized or anything, but I think the general public ought to be involved in making this decision because we have to travel. As we travel to the city hall, we want to make it as easy as possible to reach, and I think, and save some money if we already own the property. Okay? That's my feeling. I am a taxpayer, and I really have to argue with Mr. Kissinger every once in a while to keep my taxes from going up to where I can afford it. And I know if we go to spending some money that I would consider unnecessary, then I'd like to limit that. I thank you. Okay?
Thank you, sir. Good seeing you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else wishing to speak to anything not on the agenda, please come forward, state your name, sign in, and give us your best 3 minutes. Seeing none, citizen participation closed. Like a motion on the consent agenda.
Motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you very much. On to the financial report. Welcome, Mr. O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Trust you've got your financial packet, so I have a few comments to make about April's numbers. First off, on the unrestricted cash balances report, you see that our total unrestricted cash decreased by approximately $458,000. That is due to two items. Both are installment payments, one on our 2010 bond issue, which includes annual principal of $500,000, and semi-annual interest of $78,252. We also began paying on the 3-year loan on our dump truck that was purchased last fall, and principal and interest $32,461. Between those two items, that gets us to $610,713. So obviously we decreased just a little bit. With respect to the debt outstanding report, one item has come off the list, and that was the obligation to Drury University for Brookline Park. With the sale of the park property early in April, we took a $90,000 loan balance off the books and netted out $103,000 after all was said and done. The only other note that I expect to take off the books in 2016 will come up over the summer, and that will be the building, housing, planning, and development. We're close enough on that one. Let's see. On to the revenue and expense report. We're trying a little something new here. As you can see, the idea is to show what a more realistic number in terms of revenues and expenditures compared to this time last year, because as you know, in March we do our year-end accruals, and so we're basically converting over from cash in, cash out, taking out those monies relating to the 2015 activity that happened in 2016. Well, if you take a look at that, basically we're working at a loss for the rest of the year. So our thought was, if we add back the accruals, what are we really showing a net profit for the city as we move on down 2016? So we're trying this out, see if this will work for everyone. And again, these reports, all of them are work in process. If you feel there's something that we're not covering, if you see something that we can enhance, we're always open to suggestions. So based on this, we're showing cash in and out for April year to date, $960,000 this year versus $882 last year. So we're still looking pretty healthy. A few other comments aside from the reports. As you know, we had Marshall Decker, the city auditor, joining us last week, and that went fairly smooth. Right now we're doing a little bit of homework for Marshall, and then as he is drawing up the final audit report, it is our goal to bring this to council for approval at the first meeting in June. And then also, as you recall, last meeting, or 2 weeks ago, we also had the workshop where we had representatives from OTC joining us, along with Carl Ramey from Stifel Nicholas, to discuss financing issues. Since then, I've talked with Carl, and he is working on scenarios regarding certificates of participation and hypotheticals based on whether we do separate financial instruments, one for City Hall, one for OTC, and what the numbers look like there, and also a blended instrument combining the two. So Carl and his staff are working on that. I hope to have something by the end of the month, because unfortunately Carl will be going into hospital June 1st, back surgery. So he'll be out of action for a few weeks, so we'd like to try and have something for council's review before then. And with that, I am done.
Thank you, sir. Questions, comments, discussion, Mr. O'Donnell? Anything at all? Seeing none, need a motion to approve financial report?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Reports from staff, Mr. Keeling?
No, sir.
Mr. Derrickson?
No, sir.
All right, we're on to future community events.
Future community events, till the end of May. May 6th to the 27th is Todd Academy. We hold that on Fridays. It's either at 9:30 or 10:45 a.m. That's for children for ages 2 to 5. May 9th is Toddler Open Gym. It's a Monday. It's at 9 a.m. That's for ages 0 to 5. And no registration is required, and we host that at the Republic Activities Building. May 21st is our next event at the AMP. That will be the movie Inside Out. That will be preceded by Skinny Improv doing a live comedy show. May 26th, Senior Movie Day. The movie is In the Heart of the Sea. It's at 3 p.m. at the Republic Community Center. It's a free event. Saturday, May 28th is opening day of the Republic Aquatic Center. They're open Monday through Saturday from noon to 7 and on Sunday from noon to 6. And on Monday, May 30th, city offices will be closed in observance of Memorial Day.
Perfect. I'm shocked you didn't have Wayne do that since he's here tonight.
He didn't volunteer.
Well, we can make that happen.
Yeah.
Board commissions and committee schedule, Board of Adjustments, June 2nd, capital improvements, May 25th. City council meetings, May 23rd and June 13th. And planning and zoning, May 16th. On the new business, we'd like to have a motion to have the first reading of bill number 16-09.
Motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into an intergovernmental cooperative agreement on behalf of the City of Republic with the Department of Public Safety.
Mr. Riddle, welcome, Chief Locke. Give us the overview, sir.
Well, good evening, thank you. This is a initiative by the state of Missouri, and it's actually already in process. There's about 150-plus agencies that are participating in MODEX, the Missouri Data Exchange System. And what happened a couple of years ago when the Republic Police Department joined Springfield Police Department and Greene County Sheriff's Department in their records management system, NICHE. NICHE did not have the technical bridge to connect the data to MODEX. So for the last couple of years, all three agencies have not been contributing criminal data to this statewide system that shares intelligence information. Finally, I think MODEX is getting NICHE connected, and they're trying to get the Republic Police Department along with Greene County and Springfield to sign agreements to share that data. It's basically a sharing agreement of data. All of our information will be shared with other MODEX agencies throughout the state of Missouri to use, to access. It'll allow us to access their data, and for all intents and purposes, it allows us to connect the dots that in the past haven't been connected. When criminals travel from state to state or from different parts of the state, this allows us starting to connect the dots with that information. So this agreement would allow us to participate and share data in MODEX with Springfield and Greene County, and at the same time utilize the MODEX data that we could also utilize that's available to us.
Questions, comments, discussion from Chief Locke?
And there is no cost to this. This is the state wants this intelligence information, and so they are building the technical bridge that will share that data back and forth.
Questions, comments, discussion? Anything at all? Seeing none, this is a first reading. If you have questions, comments, discussion between the next meeting, please contact Chief Locke. Thank you, sir. On other business, resolution number 16-R-43, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, to enter into an engagement letter with Gilmore and Bell PC for a proposed issuance of certificates of participation or other financial services, and to enter into an agreement for annual disclosure compliance services. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second. Motion second. Mr. Keeling, give us the overview, sir.
Actually, Mr. Derrickson.
Mr. Derrickson.
Yes, this is kind of a follow-up to the modification to the agreement we have with Stiefel Nicholas. And one of the things that we need to do is, in order to proceed further in the investigation of potential financial sources for doing the things that were discussed about OTC and a possible city hall, we need to have bond counsel on board, and we've used Gilmore and Bell in the past, and so we have an engagement letter to ask them to assist us in this case to decide whether or not we're going to go forward with this. And then the second part of it is another agreement. They are currently providing us services related to our past financial services that they provided and helping us keep in compliance with the regulations, federal regulations and everything through annual disclosure statements. That agreement ends end of June. And so two things here. One, we would engage them to help us with the financing, and two, we would extend that agreement that's going to end in June so they would continue to help us with the annual disclosure statements.
Questions, comments, discussion from Mr. Derrickson? Anything at all? Fair enough. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you very much. Resolution number 16-R-44, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, approving the purchase of a new work truck for the Water Division of Public Works. Would like to have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Welcome, Mr. Brock. Please seal the review, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. One of the capital purchases budgeted for the Water Division this year is expenditure to replace a 2004 F-250. And we were proposing to do that using a MoDOT bid award that Republic Ford participated in, and they've submitted a proposal that conforms to their bid submitted to the state. This would be a 2016 Ford F-250 4x4 regular cab, and the options that we are asking for would delete the bed, add a utility body, and include a limited slip differential. This vehicle would be a match for a pair of vehicles that we bought in 2014. Very happy with those. They're kind of a general duty, lots of tools on these utility beds, and so we're proposing to go forward with the F-250 at Republic Ford at a total price of $28,278.
Thank you, sir. Questions, comments, discussion from Mr. Brock? Mr. Wilson?
You were saying single cab, how come you didn't get it extended or close?
We seldom have multiple bodies riding in these. In most cases, it's two. If it's three, we can put up the center console, and the utility beds really allow plenty of storage. One of the issues we ran into with just an open pickup truck is you have absolutely no dry storage. So we found with these utility bodies that the extended cab really isn't a high priority.
Additional questions, comments, discussion from Mr. Brock? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you very much. Resolution number 16-R-45, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, awarding the bid for the re-roof of the Republic Senior Friendship Center and authorizing the execution of contract between the City of Republic and Glenstone Roofing and Fence for said services. Would like to have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and 1 second. Thank you, Mr. Breshears. Welcome, Mr. Hawkins. How are you?
Good.
Good. Welcome to council.
Welcome,
Give us the
council.
overview, sir.
Well, in 2012, the rear south portion of the Friendship Center, which was the new addition, was re-roofed. That roof was about 10 years old, which normally wouldn't have to be re-roofed at 10 years, but there was a manufacturer's defect in the shingles. I was able to secure a credit for 40 square of shingle, so at that time we re-roofed the rear. The older front portion of the building could have used to been re-roofed at that time. We did not have the funds available, been seeking those funds over the last few budget cycles. We do now have budgeted $18,500 for the re-roof of the front portion. We went out and solicited bids for that to 6 different companies, received back 2 responses to re-roof the front portion of that. We did have an alternate in there, you'll see, for a ridge vent. When they installed the addition on the back of the building, they did do a ridge vent instead of a standard gable vent. I just wanted to check out what the pricing would be to make that match. It's not really necessary. The roof is vented well the way it is with the gable vents. It comes out that it's a little bit more expensive to do that than what we've got budgeted, so I'm not going to recommend the alternate ridge vent on there. That existing front roof, the north portion, those shingles are already losing tabs. They're cupped. Nails are backing out. So it's time to do something on that right away before we start having leaks. So staff would recommend that Glenstone Roofing and Fence, we accept their bid for $18,775. And also, you'll notice on there the caveat, all the roofers always have an amount on there for square foot for replacing of any damaged decking that is found during the process. And you'll notice that their bid was also lower on the decking at $1.75 a square foot for any decking that might have to be replaced.
Thank you, sir. Questions, comments, discussion, Mr. Hawkins? Mr. Finkenberry, go ahead.
Not to disparage the people that turned bids in, but do you know why the other, only getting 2 bids, and there's obviously a huge disparity between the 2?
I do not. We only had 2. We actually had 3 respond. 1 responded by sending their bid late to the wrong location. So we actually had 3 attempts at responding. The other 4, I'm not sure what the reason was why they did not respond.
1 out of the remaining 3 couldn't meet the OSHA requirements that we had. 1 did submit their bid into the senior center, so there's 4 accounted for. The other 2 just didn't get back.
Okay. And when you meet the requirements, is this company, or do they do it themselves, or do they subcontract out?
They do it themselves.
Okay. Thank you.
Additional questions, comments, discussion? Mr. Harder?
Time frame to do this, if we pass?
We have a couple of other issues on the table that we're working with at the senior center. One is a parking lot redo.
Okay.
So we're looking to do this summer, but I have to work it in around those things, so it's going to be probably a couple of months out.
And will that affect any of the activities at the senior center?
We will have to schedule with them and work that in to not do that. So
Very good.
with the time frame that we put on that, we'll be able to have some time to work that out in between events and things like that.
Thank you very much.
Is this like usually like a day or 2 project? They usually do
Typically, they
these
can get
pretty
that
quick.
done in 1 to 2 days.
Yeah.
It's a pretty straightforward A-frame roof, so it shouldn't take very long.
Okay.
Additional questions, comments, discussion, Mr. Hawkins? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Thank you very much. Thank you, Wayne. Resolution number 16-R-46, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, authorizing the execution of a license agreement with the Republic Saddle Club for use of property located at Miller Park. Would like to have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Mr. Kelly, give us the overview, sir.
Certainly. Ever since really last October or November, we've been working with the Republic Saddle Club, mostly in terms of their insurance. They were struggling getting that to us in a timely manner. We've met with them, I would say, at least 5 times over the last 2 or 3 weeks. They've finally come through with the necessary insurance. We're meeting with them again on Wednesday to have a long-term discussion of perhaps that facility being removed out of Miller Park. That may be a couple of years out, but the current agreement in place, I did want to point out, there was a typographical error. That typographical error was due to me, but in the agreement, the term of this agreement is to December 31st, 2016, and your agreement is labeled as 2015. So this will just be to the end of the year. Typically, we do these for a year, and that would go on into the spring, and they could get an event or 2 under this agreement, but we did that on purpose. Expires at the end of this year. We're going to spend the next 7 to 8 months trying to hammer out an agreement and looking at what we're going to do long-term as far as their use of that rodeo arena.
Questions, comments, discussion for Mr. Keeling?
You need an addendum or a motion to change that date? Or is that just
This is in the draft contract.
just a draft, okay.
Yeah.
How many events do they have out there a year?
Typically speaking, around 6 or 7. To be speaking honestly, though, this is one of the issues we've had. We're not giving too much advance notice of those. There's one in particular that happened recently where we're giving almost none. Trying to work through those issues. They've got a much more responsive president now. We're very happy with the communication we've had with them, but somewhere around 6 or 7.
Okay. And you stress to them that they need to communicate better with us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that has been an ongoing issue for a number of years. I do really commend their new president. I mean, I've been speaking to him for the last 2 weeks, seems like almost daily, and I've never had that sort of communication out of him before.
Oh,
So
very
he's
good,
doing well.
very good.
Does their insurance carry through the end of the year, or will we have to keep monitoring that?
It actually goes through April of 17. But to answer your question, we had a real problem getting that insurance. I mean, a real problem. And they finally come through with it last week. They didn't know necessarily if they could afford the amount of insurance we were going with, but they came up with a fund. So we're happy to hear that. It's good. So they're buttoned up through the end of this year and on into 17 if we choose to let them remain there. Do want to, one more time, Wednesday, we are having a discussion about long-term, and I'll report back to the council how that discussion goes. So.
Mr. Wilson, in here it says they need 2 MPs there at all times. Do they still do that?
They do. They had some trouble there in the last year, but they've always come through with that. But they are required to do that, correct?
So that first event, it wasn't covered by insurance, I take it.
They had their $600,000 worth of insurance. We made every person down there sign a waiver.
Very good.
Additional questions, comments? Discussion for Mr. Keeling. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries, thank you. I'd like to have a motion to go into or executive session under RSMO 610.021.2.
Motion.
Second. I have a motion and a second. For a roll call vote, that, before we get there, that, roll call vote.
Councilmember Clinkenbeard,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilson,
Aye.
Councilmember Jones,
Aye.
Councilmember Brashears,
Aye.
Councilmember Harder,
Aye.
Councilmember Poole. Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. We'll take a 5-minute recess. That ends our regular session. No other action will be taken tonight in open session. The only action will be taken or an announcement by me of adjournment. So take a 5-minute recess. Thank you very much.